Alright, welcome back to another league race. We're talking back on FTRL GT1 for week number 8 at Dragon Trail Gardens. And this is this is from the this is from just when the lobby, just when before qualifying was starting. So we had an idea. This is our wet week. We'll get into that in a bit, and then qualifying is about to start. So I was like, right, well, let's, we're good to go here. We're just having a cycle through, seeing what other people are doing. And then, of course, I've realised at this point, as qualifying begins, that I forgot to actually enter. So, yeah. So, that's
Wait, have I not entered?
that's pretty bad. So,
Graham. Ah, fuck's
He's
sake.
starting at the back.
Absolute fruit.
What the
He's
fuck?
starting at the back. You fucked it up.
I should have really, but anyway, we did get a lobby reset though. But anyways, yeah, embarrassing stuff on my behalf. But anyways, it did change the nature of the qualifying session, ironically, because the weather had to be the same weather had to be. We have the same weather conditions, and then, but it's different. Like even though the weather is the same, it does actually change. So, anyways, you'll see that. I wasn't sure if we'd get any dry running in this session, but with the resetted lobby, then
Oh no,
it did change a bit. So, is it raining now? I believe it's raining now, but it will dry up. So yeah, we're all in intermediates, and it will dry up. So, anyways, out we go then. So we get that done, and yeah, here's the actual format. It's two 40-minute races around Dragon Trail Gardens, 6-time tires, 5 times fuel. Hards only is the dry tire available for the race 1, and race 2 only softs available. So yeah, that does switch the dynamic up a little bit. Thankfully this time though, I have managed to map myself finally the zoom out feature on my map on the wheel for the weather, so this will be in a lot better shape. Here's a lap of Dragon Trail Gardens. When you're in the groove of this place, I love this place. It's a fun track. Well, not love, but I do really enjoy it. It's on the hard compound tyre, so we've got a good lap going here in P5 at the moment. We did that on the inters, I believe. The track has dried up rather on the hards. We've actually got a bit. We've put a decent lap here. So, anyways, 34.7 is what we've done so far. It's good enough for 5th. We do a nice sector 1. Again, people are we're basically at full dry now at this part of the point of this session. So like everyone's shouldn't really be running out of sync, because in terms of like getting a lap time in when the track is getting drier and different people have different parts, and whoever comes across later gets a better lap because it's drier. But all that's out the window now. We can kind of attack. The curbs they're still slightly wet, but not too much really. You can still use them. So anyways, heading down then the hill. This is probably the most difficult part of the track, I would say, especially in the wet conditions. You're going to see later on. Back end one to kick away, then kick it through. Oh, tough part of the track, especially on tyres. So anyway, decent lap so far though, I have to say. And then a couple of laps flying in, and then these last 2 corners get nice and slow down. Don't hit the runoff on the outside, and then decent exit, and then we can go flat to the floor then and set ourselves a very nifty time of a 1:33.8, which was good enough for 2nd, which I think ended up being good enough for, I think, 3rd in the end. It ended up being. Couldn't find an improvement on the last lap. So, yeah, P3 in qualifying. Very happy with that. And unless Ross jumps up to jump me up, but I'm pretty sure this was a P3. So, yeah, I felt pretty good. There's not a lot of practice you can do, really. These are the weather conditions. You can practice for some of these conditions, but never really the crossover. So, yeah.
Dom, come on, man.
It's that part of things that are it's difficult to practice for, because, you could get caught at the wrong place at the wrong time on the track, and then difficult to really recover from that. And if you lose time, you can easily lose a minute or 2, depending if you've hit the wrong part of the track or make the wrong call, because if you're on wet track and dry tyres, then difficult to really get that back, isn't it? But anyways, here we go then. Starting from P3, it's starting off nice and sunny. You can see we've got our radar set ready to go. Hard compound tyres. So let's go for it then. Witchell in front, we got Dom, we got Ross behind, but I think I'm hopeful of a good result here, to be fair. So let's go for it. And this first lap, nothing really doing here, just, you know, rolling start. You can settle in nicely. Don't have to worry too much about saving fuel, but when you're behind a car, I like to try and do so anyways. But lap number 3, Ross then got a decent run behind. Oh, he's right, he is close, but still... I think, yeah, sorry, this is the start of the weather approaching in now. You can see now, I can see 50 miles instead of 5 or 10. Lap 5, oh, late call, very late call to come in. Probably could have got away with it, but I went with Tom in the end on it. I was happy to go for it, but I reckon
The risk is too high.
I thought my justification was the risk was too high, but I think one lap more would have been fine. But it was a tight call either way. I think ultimately, I would, looking back in hindsight, like, you know, either one was fine. I think.
Started to rain.
So, yeah, because it had started to rain, but it does take a while for it to get in, and like Witchell is like going down the hill towards the hairpin now. So, the real part you don't want to hit it is sector 3. But let's see how heavy it is by that point. But we have made the correct call in the sense that it is actually raining, and we've come in at the right time. So, anyways, we're gonna, yeah, we filled up, of course, to, you know, fill up as we can, and yeah, make sure that when the rain gets heavy enough that we turn on the traction. So yeah, not above using traction control this time. I'm learning my lessons from previous races in the wet. You can see lap 8 very much into the things. I think we're running traction 2 at this stage. But the weather, you can see it's quite high. We've got a nice gap, 4 seconds behind, but honestly, coming into this first corner, I braked. Back end just stepped out. It just went, like, there's nothing I could do. Like, I'm not even angry about it. Like, the back end just went away from me. Like, I just got on the brakes and whew, back end just went, no, not a chance. So that was tough because I had a very comfortable P3 and I was, you know, growing the margin. So that's annoying in that sense. But I can't be, like, nothing I could do. Like, the back end just, I just hit the brakes and the back end just went. So yeah, that's tough. But we have to go on. I knew the pace was actually solid enough in the wet. It's just I have to now recover now from it, and my trust into braking into turn 1 was definitely shaken from this point forward, so that kind of affected some of my pace going forward. But anyways, side by side then with Pagani, very easy on the brakes. He's going to go down the inside. I'm going to go for a nice switchback. Pagani gets a little bit squirrely on exit, and we get a nice little switchback there, so we gain that position back. So we're still in a good position in P7, but obviously not quite where we once were. Lap 11, track is beginning to dry out a bit now. There's a dry line beginning to emerge. I think Pagani he's not pitted yet. Lee, though, is flying. Lee had an off, I think, to start the race, and he's absolutely tearing through the field. So I was like, look, go. Absolutely go. He was tearing through. So, yeah, we're just going to try and follow him as best as we can. But, yeah, moving on then to lap number... Oh, the track is drying pretty quickly here, so we will be back on dry tyres pretty soon here. Let's see what lap we decide to actually go in the end as we follow through this sector. Lap 12. Lee goes off for an extra lap. I'm coming in. Hard compound tyres. And I think a full tank should get us through to the end at this stage. So let's see what we decide to actually do. Again, it's been a minute since I've actually done it, like recorded these. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. Do we decide to do for the full tank, or did I leave some in? I should really fast forward these. I just don't sometimes. I bug edited these and I just didn't feel like fast forwarding the pit stop, so yeah, that's my bad for laziness, I guess. But anyways, let's see where we end up. So obviously Lee then was about a second or so in front, a few seconds in front when we boxed behind him. We did a full fill because we're going faster now than we would have been short shifting beforehand. So there is going to possibly have to be some management involved there. You do have to allow an extra lap or so because yeah, we have to be careful because as Ross has an off there, we have to be careful because the fuel delta lies to you if you're now pushing, of course, and dries compared to the short shifting and wet. So you have to approximate for that as well. We get by them. Ross and Lee is chasing Chubbs, and Pagani's there as well. Chubbs, and I think is coming to the pits. So lap 17. Some laggy stuff going on here. It's me and Lee chasing Pagani for the last podium spot. Pace was pretty good in the dry, and I knew Pagani was on the fritz with fuel, so I felt pretty good about getting him. But this is pretty distracting from when you've got this kind of stuff going on. And you think what's actually taking place here. So you think Lee's gone like into the barrier, so as you go Pagani's gone into the barrier, then like it's not quite that case. However, these were just precursors of what was to come as we head up through the tunnel here under the bridge, and we get a lobby error for everyone in the audience. So. Lee lagging out there as well. So 75% points were awarded for this one, and we move on then to race number 2. So difficult. Yeah, shame. I had a chance, I thought, to get to have a go at Pagani, but P4 and 5 is pretty solid team points, and this is pretty heavy stuff. We are in inters though, just because the wets weren't as much of an advantage as you might think. Plus, I just think having the inters, you know, when it does become a bit drier, you're so much quicker, I think, than you are on wet. So it is tough, but the penalty for running inters at this stage compared to wet isn't too bad. I think it's worth toughing out, because if it was, we knew it was going to change a lot through this race. If it was consistently like this for the whole race, then yeah, we'd want to be on the full wets. But yeah. For now, though, we're on inters. I think that actually some people did end up going wets in the end. So there was some split strategy, to be fair. But Rom having a big off there. Yeah. So traction 2, my braking to turn 1 was very much kind of dented in confidence. So we had to be careful. And going over that curb, I think, was a little bit. My confidence in the race wasn't quite as high going over those curbs. Didn't want to really have a spin out. But we gained 1 position on Rom. Obviously, race 2 was a reverse from race 1. So that's why we're a little bit further down the field. Having a look to see on Ross. I didn't plan to go for that move, but we ended up having a half look anyways. So yeah, so pretty tight stuff then. Rom's just behind us. He's got Lee just behind us as well. So Lee, we know, has got good pace here as well. So yeah, just fighting through. It's so... Look, you're just constantly getting a feel for the conditions at this stage. It's tough, it's treacherous stuff. If you've ever raced Dragon Trail Gardens in the wet on the intermediates, you know, it's it's pretty hairy stuff, and that's even with traction on here. So, but I felt okay about most of this track. It's just turn 1. This part actually was the difficult part. So there's that downhill braking point, and obviously then turn 1 where my confidence was a bit dented after the spin of race 1. But there goes Chubbs for a spin, and we get a good run on unsafe as well. So I'm going to go for the outside here as well. So yeah. Ross and unsafe then. They both have a little bit of a wide moment. It's going to slip down the inside then of unsafe, and hope to get on the throttle a little bit earlier. Yeah, a bit of contact, and he kind of Ross the back end and then kind of went into my back a bit. And then yeah, we got a position then up at P6. So happy days. Treacherous stuff here. Just have the radar on early on rather than the weather map. We'll have a look at that pretty soon as things begin to stabilize a bit. But yeah, we've got these conditions for a little bit, so let's try and make the best of them that we can. Hairy stuff these first few laps, like, to be fair. You can see just kind of crawling through. Missed the apex there a bit. I want to be hitting this apex, but so hard to get the car turned in. We got unsafe right behind us as well. Ross has a bit of a moment there, so we should have to jump on him. James has a moment then as well, so we gain up into P5, and then we have the better traction on Ross. So am I going to look for the inside line? Yeah, I think I will. And then I don't. I decide now, let me slide back in. And then big dive bomb then from unsafe. I mean, I knew I was a little bit hesitant on the brakes, but man, he got that stopped in a hurry. So, and then lost the back end on exit. So yeah, almost a really good move there. But yeah, from unsafe, I ended up just not quite slowing down in time and getting not getting the traction rather. So Tom, I knew had a lot more pace. So I was like, just go down the inside.
You win championships, Tom. I'll just go through, Tom.
Anyway, I just didn't. There's no point wasting time fighting Tom. He's just got superior pace. I want to try and go with him, and now I want to let Lee go now as well. So I want Lee to go down the inside then. So yeah, we'll Lee go and let him go to work, and we'll go from there. So yeah, there goes Lee. So yeah, some good teamwork going on there. So, anyways, heading on to lap number 5. What happens here? Intermediates, yeah, a bit of a kerfuffle, a bit of a dive bomb from Witchell. Wasn't too pleased about that. Yeah, a bit of a dive there, and we kind of soldier on. We're still in a good position here. Again, it's drying out. We got softs available to us, and our softs will be able to do quite well here because we're quite good on tires. Especially from wet to dry, the tyre wear is quite gentle compared to a full dry track where I think about 10 laps or so is what you're getting on a set of softs. Softs are going off, I think, before your fuel is, so just about. So yeah, we went for the leap on lap 5. A couple of people stayed out.
Cars will go longer.
I think this was ultimately the lap before was really the just lap to go for if you had the choice. Pagani won the lap before, and you can see Pagani then is going to get the jump heading into turn 1. Is he? There goes a few cars. So there goes Sean. There goes Pagani. Then I think they pitted the lap before, but we've really improved since our race a couple of seasons ago at Altopolis, where we got lapped twice in wet to dry conditions. Really have learned a lot since then, and we've even there since Fuji last season as well. We've done really well to learn how to race in wet conditions and transitions and these kind of things. So yeah, very pleased about how this has gone so far, and we're doing quite well here for ourselves too in so far. But I'll go a bit deep here on the brakes and just get onto the wet stuff a bit, and that's just gonna cost me some time. I lost about maybe 4 or 5 seconds there. So yeah, I was saying to Lee, just be careful with our fuel. So we have to be careful with our fuel here in this part to get just to go as long as we can before the rain comes again. I'm in 12th place then, so after that, so not great, but let's try and make the best of it we can. We got unsafe then, who I'd like to try and get past then. There's enough of a dry line to go for a move then. He gets on the wet stuff a bit, and then once you're on the wet stuff, that's very difficult. And then James goes off the track as well, so we gain 2 positions there for the price of 1. And we go up into P10 then. So yeah, I'm confident with my pace. I just have to be careful on the fuel to get to the next weather stint before pitting. And then obviously we got a whole bunch of people. Oh, look at this battle. So we got Rom, Chugs, Ross, and then Witchell swoops around the outside. And that was a very nice move from him, but wasting no time there. But anyways, we're right there. We're not too far away. There's a lot to happen still. We got another, we got another transition to wets coming up at some stage as well. So, yeah, we've got plenty to fight for still in this race. I'm optimistic that once this second stint filters out, we'll be in a good spot here. But just by trying to save tires, well, not so much save tires. We got very nice wear. Save fuel is the big thing. So, these guys are going to be battling away, squabbling away. I'm happy just to kind of just let them for now. Quite a battle though, I have to say, in front of me emerging. So yeah, a lot of cars pent up there. Lap 9, Witchell has an off then, so we move up a position then into P10 then as a result. So yeah, that's a 1 position gain there at least. Lap number 10, who's off this time? I think that is Biggles who's off. So Biggles is off then, up another spot then into P9. You just have to be so careful on the curbs at times. You just have to be very, very careful. And I tried my best not to get too greedy with curves while we're still, I can still see a wet line then. Rosslyn has a loser then on the entrance then to that corner, and then Rom has an off as well, so we're kind of gaining lots of positions here quite quickly. So James then was kind of pushing a bit more on this stint. You can see I'm kind of short shifting a bit. So yeah, we're trying to save fuel. Now James has got a good run, so he's going to go on. You can see, I believe, so the weather initially came in from the from the west. It's not. You can just see on the outskirts there of the weather map. It's just creeping in from the west. So, okay, this is we're hanging on. We have to hold on as best we can. Now the tires are in to rack up now on the dry track, but the weather. You see, we've got 3.6 laps of fuel left, so I'm really having to short shift because I debated whether I should pit a few laps ago, but we've committed to this now. So now Rom's going to go through because we're trying to save fuel. So there's the weather. It's then going to swap then from from west to south because the wind changes direction. So you can see the wind then sweeping in that weather from the west, but it will change, and the weather then will come in from the south. But we didn't know this until right at this moment, so. It was please let this come in a little bit quicker. I'm desperately trying to get through. Now the weather has shifted then. It came from the south. I decided to go for another. I decided very late to stay for another lap. We've got we've got to get this, we've got to save some fuel this lap then. Have to save this lap. But we will make this time back. On our set of softs, we will make up time compared to guys who've pitched on Inter. So because we've been managing, good grief. Because we've been able to manage with this stint with fuel, we've managed to get a little bit more of time on the softs. My God, I cannot speak. This is the third one of these I'm recording today, so I'm all out of sorts. I can no longer speak. Look, 1 lap more on softs, good. 1 lap on inters on a dry track, bad. There we go. There's my synopsis for you. So Now we've got easily enough fuel then to get to the end of the race. Then we've made the hard work. We've done the hard work in that middle stint. That middle stint was where a lot of the hard work was done. So I don't think I need to go this much on the fuel, but I just wanted just in case. And we emerged into a handy P5. Oh no, P6. So yeah. So we made up a lot of time in that middle stint just because of being able to fuel save and not have to pit early. And yeah, just stay out as long as we could on a dry track. Even though we had to fuel save, we did very well. So yeah, excellent stint too. That really put us on the front foot then. Lee and then Dom and then Tom are fighting for this win. Dom was surprisingly in the hunt here for quite a while, but again though, coming out into this hairpin, excuse me, again just a little bit too deep and just got onto that part of the track, so that lost me a little bit of time then as well. So yeah, on we go then. Heading on then to lap number this is end of lap 18 rather. So Tom then comes into the pits, and then Dom has an off then on that part of the track as well. So yeah, that was a tough one then for Dom. And Tom then emerges in the lead, just next to Lee. So Lee's going for this race win. James has an off then, lap 19, so we managed to gain a place then, and the rain is chucking it down, absolutely chucking it down. The wind was really going to pick up this second stint. That's probably why I lost it. Actually, if the wind was anything like it was last lap, this lap, that 7-mile-an-hour wind has really affected it. You can see it. You can see it whipping across the track there. The rain, the crosswind. Anyway, we got close to Chubbs on a couple of occasions, but never really enough to make a move. So in the end, a P4, excellent result. Lee won the race, so fair play to him. He overtook Tom and made that work. A P4 and a P5 and the P1 and the P4 for Lee. Excellent stuff. Would have liked to have a podium, but on the wet week, 2 excellently navigated races. Really, really top stuff there. So very pleased to how that state of affairs turned out. So yeah, excellent stuff. That's our best wet race execution all around there. Some excellent calls made there, and it shows in the standings. Then we move right back up to within 2 points of Sean, and we kind of clear a gap on Witchell then, and we've got a nice little gap to Rom as well. So yeah, very happy with that. Hopefully we can get after Sean coming up here. We've got some good tracks for the Lexus coming up though, to be fair, so that might be a little bit difficult at times. But then Lee making a push then for third, even second. So yeah, Lee looking good, and that's his second race win of the season after Blue Moon then. And a nice weekend for us then for the constructors then as well. Look at that, a whopping 84-point gap to the Starbucks boys. So yeah, very pleased about that for the team. But that's going to do it for this week's edition of FTRL GT1 around Dragon Trail Gardens. Next up is Mount Panorama, Bathurst, for a 75-minute race around Bathurst. I have a lot of ground to make up here because last time I had one of my worst races. Yeah, very early on though. It was one of my first seasons of FTRL GT. So yeah, we've learned a lot since then, and I'm determined to make up for that difficult race. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and until next time.